Get out now, Pete.
It was a pleasure.
Oh.
I thoroughly my favorite.
Hi and welcome to Flaawsome Talk. I am Kjersti. I'm an entertainment reporter and I've interviewed celebrities for 15 years here in Hollywood, and right now I'm taking you guys a little bit behind the scenes to see what it is really like to work as an entertainment reporter. I talk about the nice people, the not so nice people, my interviews that are cringe, my interviews that are funny, some that are interesting, some that are boring, and some that didn't go very well. Today I'm going to talk about a very, very silly interview, so stay tuned for that. Nothing went according to plan, and it was with one of my favorites, Mark Wahlberg. I really, really love him. I've interviewed him. I think he's the actor I've interviewed the most times, actually, probably 15 times, and he always remembers me. He's always so sweet and forthcoming, and I remember once he even asked me, it was so funny, he was like, can you tell me who's always late to these interviews? He wanted to have the gossip, the behind the scene juice, and I was like, that's so funny. So celebrities also like gossip, just so you know. Anyway, someone asked me, I get a lot of funny comments from you guys. A lot is really good feedback. As you can see now, I'm wearing a mic. I did have a lav already, but it's not that easy to actually attach it to something. So I was holding the mic like this, and some people commented that it's really annoying. So I'm gonna stop doing that. I don't want to do things that annoy people because I know what that's like, and then you get obsessed with it, and then you start getting more and more annoyed. Someone also sent me a DM on Instagram saying that I say basically too many times during interviews, during these videos. So I will also try not to say basically so much. And apart from that, someone said that I do this with my hair too much. So I'm gonna try to not do that. And then, yeah, I think that was it. So now I'm gonna, oh yeah, someone actually said that I do move forward and backward too much. I'm gonna try not to do any of those annoying things in this video and get to the point. Anyway, someone also asked me if I ever was surprised with celebrities who are much shorter than they appear on screen. And I would say yes, all the time. People are so much smaller in real life. I think especially women, when you meet them, they're very tiny. And compared to me, I'm like quite big built, you know, Scandinavian. I'm 5'10", so I'm pretty tall, and then I put heels on, and I'm like a lot of the time the tallest person in the room here. When I'm back in Norway, it's not like that. People are a bit taller than here. So I think especially in Hollywood, yeah, that happens a lot. And also with the guys, I think someone like, for example, Brad Pitt, I was quite surprised the first time I met him because he was so much tinier than I imagined. You know, he's very skinny. He's got a very small waist, and he's not that tall. Leonardo DiCaprio, not so tall. The only tall people that I met is Vince Vaughn. He's very tall, 6'5". Sacha Baron Cohen is very tall. Clint Eastwood is very tall. But you know, sometimes it's hard for an actor if you're too tall to actually get parts. I did a documentary with Dolph Lundgren that I talked about a little bit here a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about that because he was 6'5", and you know, he actually lost out on a lot of parts because he was too tall. So, you know, and I know the same thing with Alexander Skarsgård, who's also very tall. So it's not always great to be tall. If you want to succeed in Hollywood, it's actually better to be like somewhere in between, because then you doesn't look like very off if you are co-starring with a shorter person. Anyways, enough of that. Let's get to Mark Wahlberg and my super silly interview with him. I think this was the second time I met him. And he was paired with Denzel Washington, which is always a really big challenge when they put actors together, because you want to give both of them the same amount of time, and then sometimes the editor for the magazine or the TV show that you work for want you to focus on a specific person, and then you know, you feel bad because you don't ask the same amount of questions for both of them. Anyways, so I don't like that situation to begin with. And this time it just completely went out of hand. So I started off with kind of an innocent question about Mark Wahlberg and what he does in the movie. It's a silly movie. It's an action comedy. It's very funny. I actually really like that film. Anyways, I started off like this. So, Mark, you have some interesting flirting tricks in this movie, the winking thing.
Yes.
Did you bring back, like, did you bring...
He's winking at you now. I'm not even looking at him. It's like he's not here, but I can tell.
Which eye works better? Let me just check it
The
out.
left one.
Yeah,
So
I
you
can
bring-
tell which one you're looking at. You're
Hold on,
looking at
now I
the
got
far.
this one.
That's right, the left
Now
one.
I got
That's
this
it.
one. I got this one.
Works on
Don't look at me now. Stay with the winker.
But I don't
Stay
know,
with
for
the
whatever
winker.
reason, I cannot do it without making a clicking sound. So I was going, I can't do it without the click.
As you can see, it started off kind of ridiculous. And Denzel Washington was getting a little bit annoyed. And the more we spoke, the more I tried to ask serious questions, and it just like completely fell through. And then this happened.
Those pants really bring the blue out in your eyes, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh, she just winked. Ah, man, I'm done. You know, would this work if one chair was empty?
So
I'm kidding.
One question. Where do you keep
No,
your
don't ask me a question now. Now, you know, got all this going on over here. Don't make me feel like I'm all involved. You know, just call me third wheel.
Also, Mark, you've been talking about your fake
See,
people.
she just forgot about that. Quick, see what I'm saying?
You were
Wait,
asking
let me
to
make
stop.
Hey,
You know, it was funny. It was an innocent thing, and he was just like being silly. But you know, my whole interview just derailed, and I didn't know. Didn't remember my questions. I didn't know what we were talking about, and then felt that Denzel was getting annoyed because he didn't get any questions. And I was going to ask him about his Oscars because it was Oscar season. He won 2 Oscars. So I was gonna be serious and ask him a question, and then this happened.
yeah,
So
go ahead.
where do you keep your 2 Oscars?
Next to each other.
Where?
That's it. Oh, that's the question I get. Talk to Mark for 20 minutes, and you ask me, so where your Oscars? Yeah, good talking to you, D. Get out now, D.
It was a pleasure.
Oh.
My favorite interview of the day. What a beautiful.
Okay, so the end of this interview, everyone was just laughing in that room, and Denzel pretended he was actually leaving, and Mark was like, it was the best interview of the day. I left that room and I was like, I don't know what I can do with this interview. It is very funny for me, but I don't know, I can't send it home and say, hey, can you use this interview in the TV show? I don't think they actually used it because it was just ridiculous, but I had a lot of fun, at least. And then I did actually ask one serious question, which had to do with the movie. For everyone who says that I don't ask questions about the movie, it did have to do with the movie, it had to do with acting, and it had to do with improv. So I asked this. But you can't fart on command. Can you do that? Or did you do that in the movie?
I did that in the movie, yes.
That was yours?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It
That's
just came.
impressive.
It just
really
came.
watched this movie, yeah.
It just came about at the
My
right
goodness.
time. And I was telling Balt, I said, you've got to keep that in the movie. He's like, yeah, but we don't want to do any fart. I said, but no, but this particular time, it's such a kid, it's like one of those just boyish, stupid things that he does.
So what about you, Denzel?
I didn't fart in the movie. Actually, I did, but I wasn't mic'd.
Okay, so that did actually happen. And here is the clip from the film where you can see exactly what it looked like in the movie.
Oh, yeah, he puked. Hey, partner. Hold on. Let me put that in there with you. Put that on you.
Okay, so as an investigative reporter, I decided that I had to get to the bottom of this and do the fact checking. So I did ask the director, Baltasar Kormiker. Oh gosh, it's Icelandic. I'm so sorry. I can't pronounce it right. But anyways, I did ask him. He was so funny, and this is what he said. So one last question. Was that fart real? Because Mark just said it was real, but it was real.
And it was totally came out of nowhere.
It did?
Yeah.
And he just decided to put it in the movie?
Yeah. No, and I said, like, I'm not a guy who, like, I goes with fart jokes, but it was so spontaneous when he did it.
It was so funny.
It's
I
like-
mean, the whole theater was just laughing nonstop.
And he's just like, that's
It's
Mark, he would just like, and then you see Denzel next to him, like, what the fuck was that?
It just never gets old. Yes, so if you've ever seen that film, you know that that fart is now real, 100%. Yeah, things can happen on movie sets. We have no idea when we watch the film, and sometimes it's more real than you actually think. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this silly video. Please come back again soon. I post twice a week, so I hope I see you in the next one. Bye.
What kind of tricks do you usually use to get out of trouble? Like,
You know, when I was a kid, I think this is where I became an actor, what I didn't even realize. I was late coming home. I was out doing what I wasn't supposed to be doing, and I knew I was going to get my behind whipped when I got home. So I got to the door of the house, and I ripped my shirt, and I put some spit under my eyes, and I worked myself up to like I was crying, and I walked in and I told my mother I got beat up. And she was like, I told you that's why you're not supposed to be out so late and blah, blah, and you go to that bathroom, clean yourself up, and come have some dinner. And I went in the bathroom, I looked in the mirror, I was like... But when I look back on it, I never asked her. I said, I may have been so bad as an actor that she felt sorry for me. You know, I don't know, but...